All right, everybody, let's see if this reading is meant for you. Pinch your fingers together and ask, is there something I need to hear or see in this reading? Pull, and if they stay together, that's a yes. If it's a no, your fingers will come apart. And what we're asking today is, what is blocking us from our next step spiritually? Okay? And I think this is a more of a weekly reading, all right? This is a broader storyline here. So, what is blocking us from our next step spiritually? What you're looking at here is something kind of creative. I've never done this before. I decided to do a 9-card Kipper spread with movement cards, but all the Kipper cards then serve as houses, and that allows me then to put my Lenormand cards on, but follow movements with the Lenormand cards. And then we're going to use the Elder Futhark runes to give us some advice on how to handle this. So if we look right here, what we see is really what's needed for you to move forward. Not so much how to get there, but what's needed. So in order for you to be able to move forward spiritually, your inner child needs to be comfortable. Here we have Lenormand anchor in the Kipper house of child. Your inner child needs to feel like they're in a world where things are good and trustworthy and positive. You also need to be able to do your work without your heart shutting down. So here we have Lenormand heart in the Kipper house of work. You need to actually be able to do your job, to do the things that you need to do in a day, and you need to stay enthusiastic. This card right over here is saying pretty much the same thing. This is Lenormand sun in the Kipper house of prison. And so, when we have to finally restrict ourselves and do those things we don't need to do, that we don't want to do, we need to be able to do those things without draining out all of our personal power. But there are some things that are triggering you that are getting in the way of you protecting these important things, right? These things are part of your life. You've got an inner child that needs to be kept happy. You've got work that you have to do in a day, and any given day is going to have stuff you really don't feel like doing that's just going to feel like restricting you. And you have to be able to keep your good alive and well while that's happening. We can't afford to have a bunch of storylines that trigger us to sell out our happiness and our energy and our, all the good we have coming to us. So if we look up here, some of the things that are really sort of weighing down on this scenario is that you have this kind of negative communication of constant obstacles that are putting your inner child in a place where it just doesn't feel happy or safe. So this is Lenormand child in the Kipper house of sorrow. This is Lenormand mountain in the Kipper house of letter, and then Lenormand letter in the Kipper house of convene. So the convene card brings these two cards together, and these are like communications with the normal people in your life, but what they really end up being is just a never-ending series of obstacles, probably incompetencies, and just fires that you have to put out. And all of that just is making your child, your inner child, feel like the world is just not a good place. Okay? And so they really can't have any fun at work, and they can't really feel safe in the world because this is weighing down on that. So these three cards are to be read together because of the way the movement cards are set up. This over here is separate. This is Lenormand man in the house of rich maiden, and what this is telling me is that you do have an ability to actually have fun, okay? You actually have the ability to enjoy yourself and get excited about things. And so that is going to help you with this sun in prison. Unfortunately, though, this card is sitting on top of broom in house. So let's talk about that. So let's start over here. You actually have a tremendous amount of good karma stored up. Okay, you have plenty of reserves. You've got Bear, which is a card of strength in the house of fortune. So you have these reserves that when you need to spend them, they can get spent. Okay, so you are in a pretty safe place. You can afford to give, you can afford to lose. But this is being connected all the way over here through a Kipper change card, a Kipper marriage card, and then the house card. All right? So with Lenormand-ship in the house of change, you are actually spending some of your good karma reserves. Okay? And what is happening is you have a lot of people in your life that you have a marriage-like agreement with. Okay? You've got this this commitment to them that it's not just you, it's you and them. All right? And it's with more than just one person. And this is creating a lot of conflict in your home. All right? Now, this could be an affair of some point on your part. That's possible, but it doesn't have to be. It can just be alternate commitments. All right? And those alternate commitments are creating conflict in your home. And so all of this is also creating a platform that is spending your energy. All right, so this is particularly spending your energy, and it's keeping you from being able to just stay focused and energized and clear and empowered while you are doing things you don't feel like doing. And all of this is making your inner child feel unsafe, and it's keeping you from enjoying your work. All right, so this is what you have to fix in order to get to your next step spiritually. Okay. So what is the advice from the Elder Futhark today? You are capable of experiencing joy, but you have to get on with it. You have to get things moving. And the way that you're going to do that is you're going to give of yourself in service. Okay? This rune right here is a rune of service, a rune of giving. All right? So this is a formula. If you are going to get on with it, if you're going to bust through these barriers, you're going to need joy, and that is going to come from service. If you're going to feel joy, it's going to come from getting on with it and being in service. Okay? If you do these things, you need to understand that they have a protective effect. This service is going to bring you joy. That joy is going to bring protection. All right? Honestly, your ability to do this is the reason that you have such good karma. So this is something you know how to do. It wouldn't give you this advice if you couldn't figure out a way to let go of you a little bit and just start outpouring and being of service. Now, with this service, because getting on with it involves other people, you know, these other people that kind of team up with you and help you move forward, you actually will need to be assertive. All right? You have to bust through. And so if you can bust through, that is going to open up the light. That is going to get this light bursting back into everything. And so once you get to that point where you've kind of gotten on with it, that joy is starting to kind of come back into the picture, and you are willing to be assertive with it and make sure that there's a space for this energy to pour back in. All right? That means you don't take crap from people. All right? You know what's real, and you're not just trying to get yours. You're busy meeting the needs of a larger whole. So you are coming from a place where it's actually appropriate for you to be assertive. Because if you're not assertive, someone else who's just fighting for themselves will win the day. All right? So you're going to have to be assertive, bust things open for whatever you think the good of the whole is going to be. And that's going to get the light flowing again. That's going to get the sun flowing back into your life. And this is going to create a new beginning for you. Here's the thing. This isn't a one and done situation. All right? That new beginning, you're going to have to begin and begin and begin. All right? You begin, it's going to create a whole cycle, but that cycle is a cycle of you showing up and doing the things you need to do. So you have to actually accept that you will have to bust the door open, bust the door open, bust the door open many, many times. It'll open, the light will flow through, you'll have this new beginning, it'll start to close down because you're living in a world where people are not just coming from the highest place. They're not just trying to be of service. They're trying to get things they want at the expense of others. And so you, in order to stay in a place of joy, which is what it's going to take to stay with these cards open, you are going to have to be assertive. You're going to have to be willing to speak up when it's time to speak up. You're going to have to be willing to gently slap things out of people's hands. I have to do it all the time in my job. But the thing is, you can afford to do this when you are coming from the right place. All right? When you are living in a place of service, people see that, people feel that, and it provides protections for you so that you can actually say the hard things, and people will have a sense that you're not saying it to hurt them. You're actually saying it for all the right reasons, and they'll be able to hear you. Okay? So you need to kind of get over this fear of speaking up and being assertive. And if you can do that, you will be able to keep this entire cycle going. All right? So that's my teaching for you today. You have to get back into a place of joy. That joy is going to come from service, and the only way to keep that alive is going to be to speak up when it's time to speak up, to bust the doors open for the good of the whole. If you do that, you will be able to open these cards back up, and that will give you your next step forward spiritually. All right, thanks everybody. If you'd ever like a reading of your own, feel free to find me on hiddenpathways.com. Otherwise, I'll see you in another video.